let's bring in right now Democratic Congressman Richie Torres of New York. Thank you so much for being with us, Congressman. You've been hearing us saying why. Help us out here. What's the best approach to the horrors that we see unfolding, whether it's in a Buffalo supermarket or whether it's in a Nashville school?
Look, I'm speechless at the hands of House Republicans. The notion that gun violence is the price to pay for freedom is outrageous. Like, what about the freedom from fear? Freedom from the fear and reality of gun violence. You know, in a rational world, there would be a ban on assault weapons and weapons of war. In a rational world, every gun would be registered and safely stored. Gun owners would be professionally trained. Gun sales would be subject to thorough background checks. But there's nothing rational about a political system that allows one senator from a state smaller than the Bronx to filibuster gun safety on behalf of 330 million Americans. And my message to my Republican colleagues is, if you're not here to protect public safety, if you're not here to protect children from mass murder, then what are you here for? You have no business being in Congress.
100%.
Congressman, we're talking in the context of this Nashville shooting about AR-15s, the gun that's used almost always in these big mass shootings. But in your district, in the South Bronx, it's handguns that are the cause of so much violence and the majority of gun violence in this country. Is there conversation, is there talk about fixing that piece of the problem as well on the national level?
Look, what we need is common sense gun safety regulation. America is the only country in the industrialized world that has an epidemic of gun violence and mass shootings. And that is not an inevitability. That is a public policy choice. Allowing children to fall victim to mass murder and mass shootings is a public policy choice that has been made in Washington, D.C. by Republicans. And I agree with you. It's a war on law enforcement, and it's a war on public safety, and it has to come to an end. You know, and we're not advocating for the elimination of all guns. You know, automobiles are dangerous, and we have safety standards that make automobiles safer. We should have safety standards that make guns safer. That is common sense, but Republicans are at war with common sense.
So, Congressman, as you well know, the House Financial Services Committee will be hearing from multiple Treasury and FDIC officials today in light of the collapse of the Silicon Valley Bank this past month. You will be filing a bill that will require the government to monitor social media for warning signs for other banks in response to the collapse of SVB. Tell us more about that bill and what we can expect from today's hearing.
Well, the sheer speed of the Silicon Valley bank run is historically unprecedented. So in 2008, Washington Mutual, which was the largest bank failure in American history, saw the loss of $16.7 billion over the course of 10 days. By contrast, Silicon Valley Bank saw the loss of $42 billion in the span of a few hours. The difference between then and now is social media. Social media enables financial panic to spread on a scale and at a pace that we've never seen before. And so I'm introducing legislation that would require banking regulators to consider a new kind of risk, which is social media risk. And I worry that a malicious foreign adversary could manufacture financial panic on social media to destabilize the American banking system.
Democratic Congressman Richie Torres, thank you very much for coming on this morning and unengaged.